Here are 4 tips that will help you secure influencers for your podcast. Number 1, cast your net wide. Resist the temptation to put all your eggs in one basket and only go for one influencer at a time. If you do this, there may be availability issues, they may not get back to you for days or weeks. All the while, your audience are waiting for an episode that's not coming, and eventually you could get a no anyway, which means you're back to square one. So if you can, brainstorm a list of a few influencers that you can envisage having on your show in this next series, and then as they come out, cast your net wide, and then you can slot them in as they come back. Now, lots of podcasters fear that by doing this, you'll get a tidal wave of response back, you won't have the availability yourself, and you'll be in that unprofessional zone where you end up going back and saying, I'm really sorry, we have a backlog of guests. But in reality, this rarely happens, and what you'll find is there'll be a nice trickle back of guests for you and your audience to slot in when you need to. So cast your net wide. Number 2 is lead with value. Now, the reality is if you are approaching an influencer and their team to go on your podcast, you are not going to be the only one. These people are very busy, their schedules are packed, and so an agency or a client manager's job is to sift through all the requests and they will pick out the ones that matter most to their client. Now, normally they'll give a blanket no and they'll prioritize the ones that pay. Now, assuming you're not in a position to do that, that means you have to front load value in your pitch, in your request, in order to hit home and bring in a motive hook to you and the influencer. So have a think, what are they actually gaining by being on your podcast? Is it that you're going to talk about a topic that no one else normally asks them about? Is it going to be about a personal cause that they're really passionate for? Or are you going to be talking about something that you know for a fact is trending in their life and they would love to be able to do that with you? Find a point of difference and go with that. Number 3 is speak with authority. Now, as you're reaching out to that influencer and their wider team, you must understand that you are now entering into a highly competitive, often cutthroat, business and commercial venture industry. And so you coming in with your podcast, if you want to be taken seriously, you have to understand how to talk, how to communicate, and all of this needs to be done with confidence. So you need to get rid of an imposter syndrome, you need to believe that you are there with a good pitch, and you need to own that and deliver it with confidence. So that means you ultimately need to build relationships with these people, understanding that they are the only barrier to you getting your guest onto your podcast. So you need to show that you know the industry, you need to show that you are not drowning and you're not in over your head, and you can negotiate with them well, just like the people in their industry that they deal with every day. Number 4, be proactive. Now, you have to be proactive with these people, otherwise you will not survive the back and forth, the time delays, the lack of availability, the questions and information that they require of you. So you have to be willing to go back again and again and again. Now, what I find is after a week, if you've not heard back from a client manager, an agent or an influencer, just give them a gentle nudge. They won't see this as difficult and annoying. They'll actually value it. If it goes 2 weeks without you hearing back, maybe change up the mode of communication. If you have been emailing, give them a call, jump on LinkedIn, maybe see what's going on social media and try to connect that way. Keep it fresh, and ultimately don't think that the reason they're not getting in touch with you is because they don't like you or they don't like your pitch. Ultimately, as we've already said, these people are very busy, their schedules are so logged with things that ultimately it would have slipped their mind. So actually, where you think it may be annoying and frustrating for you to come back to them again and again, they normally see that as a nice prompt and reminder, and you'll achieve 2 things. A, you'll normally get an apology, and then B, you'll get a response. Whether that's positive or negative, we cannot tell you, but ultimately, you must be proactive to get what you want.